wade into King James's hoard. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, for we'll die for our Isle William. On Boyne's great shore that glorious day, 30,000 they beat their way. For Orange we fight, and for Orange we'll say, we'll die for our Isle William. Sound your drum, flash your sword, wade into King James's hoard. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, or we'll die for our Isle William. On Boyne's red field in the afternoon, through the smokes undaunting gloom, as horses fell and cannons boom, and blast the way for William. Sound your drum and flash your sword, wade into King James's hoard. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, for we'll die for our Isle William. On Boyne's red field of bloody gore, James he cried, no more, no more. The time has come to end this war. I concede defeat to William. Sound your drum and flash your sword, wade into King James's hoard. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, for I'll die for our Isle William.
Good evening. I'm sitting here gobsmacked at the text that is running across the bottom of this screen. I am going to have to get onto my sister's phone and block Roy completely from communicating with my family whatsoever.
Not my words, is my disclaimer.
Welcome everyone to How Long Until Valerie Mentions John Shine in the Night. Do you still think I'm obsessed with John Shine or something? I just mentioned it because of your text. My goodness, well, welcome. I hope you are all set for a good sing-song tonight. I am putting the disclaimer up at the beginning. None of this is sash bash material. It is all proper Orange songs. It is all things that we should know, but I still hope you enjoy them, okay? So the first song that we had playing there was there was a little monologue at the beginning about it. It tells about the actual Battle of the Boyne, and it finishes up there with a little bit of King William's March or King Billy's March, which I'm sure everyone will recognise. There are so many texts coming in that I'm not going to get reading them all because the start of them has already gone off the screen. I'm not even going to get seeing them. But the first tune that I want to play tonight, and I'm going to try and hopefully maybe give you something you don't know this evening, hopefully. I'm not saying that you don't know everything, but like there's lots of wee tidbits and things like that there that you're always learning, right? So As everyone will know, our end tune up until now has always been the landing at Torbay. And the landing of Torbay was the first time William came to the UK. Now, did you know that the battle in Ireland, I've got a volume coming from somewhere, and I don't know where it is, that the battle in Ireland was actually part of a 9-year European war. And William come to Ireland was actually, it's kind of an inconvenience. He considered it a sideshow. He didn't even want to come here. So what was happening in mainland Europe was this battle of what they call the War of the League of Augsburg. So basically, William and yes, the Pope were all on one side versus King Louis of France, and France was trying to take over all of Europe basically, and Pope and King William in Holland didn't want this. So this whole battle was being fought out in Europe, right? James was on Louis's side. They were very, very close. And James was bringing in more and more into England. The government in England were concerned that James was going to turn the country Catholic again because he was shown decided Catholic sympathies. So what they did was they asked William, I've got somewhere the names of the guys who asked them, but they asked William because he was married to James's daughter. So William was Faith's father-in-law. Talk about family strife. So they asked him to come to the UK and clear the throne on James's daughter's behalf. So that is why William actually came at all. It was called the Glorious Revolution. And he landed in Torbay, as this, I think the song says the date, but he landed in Torbay at Brixham in Torbay in Devon on the 5th of November, 1688, so 2 years before the Battle of the Boyne. So even yet, while he was in the UK, all this battle was still going on in Europe, right? So he landed with 225 transport ships, 50 warships, and an army of 15,000 fully equipped Dutch and Danish troops. Now, the other thing is that James's army was composed of like Irish and French and Germans, and William's was English and Danish, as I said, and Brandenburgers, French Huguenots, and Ulster Protestants. And there were Protestants who fought for James, and William's army had also Roman Catholics. So it wasn't a religious war, neither. It never, ever was. And William's famous, I'm sure you've all heard of his Dutch Blue Guards. They were virtually Roman Catholics, but they were totally devoted to their Protestant prince. So that's why they fought for him. So this song commemorates the landing at Torbay of William in 1688. I've lost my notes. And if you listen to it, this is the song of celebration of why he's landed. The other reason I love it is it's just a darn good song.
It was when England's glorious sun in 1688 was overcast with treason's cloud and popery stood elate, that up arose her Protestants, the peasant and the peer, and vowed the chain of perjure James that they would not dainty wear. They sought them out a prudent chief to guide their heart and seal, to lead them on that victory might bless their flashing steel. And who so fit to guide that host in all its bright array as William, Prince of Orange, ere he landed at Torbay. Then up arose the mighty chief and left his native shore, and rode upon the stormy waves our freedom to restore. Upon his flag was blazoned forth high fluttering o'er the main, that our religion and our laws he ever would maintain. 'Twas then in gallant style he stood upon the vessel's prow, with victory on his flashing sword and wisdom on his brow. And tens of thousands greeted him upon his natal day, when he, our glorious Orange chief, first landed at Torbay. Come, brethren of the Orange bond, a bond ne'er to be riven. Whene'er we give great William's name, a bumper must be given. For if you'd fire a fou de joie to him who victory won, come prime and load and see you give charge unto your gun. The eloquence of bumpers full there's nothing can surpass. There's not expresses kindred soul like friendship's social glass. And thus we give our song and toast with 3 times 3 huzzah, the memory of King William and his landing at Torbay. The memory of King William and his landing at Torbay.
Couldn't get to the wee mute button there. So hope you enjoyed that song. So that's set our scene, okay? We now have William in England. He's sitting in Torbay. So the songs we're going to play tonight aren't like, they're not in a particular order in any way, but I'll try and tell you little bits as we go along. But most importantly, I hope you are singing. So I hope that you were able to make out the words. We started with a nice easy one because we knew you knew that, because a lot of you listen to the end of that. We're always amazed at how many people listen to the end of that every week. Now, going to try and get through a few of these texts. There are loads and loads and loads. So I potentially have missed the beginning of a few of them. So Scott is listening from Tullybuddy in Scotland, Jim and the crowd in Ballifrennis, Anne from Armagh, Liz from Bells Hill, Karen Robinson wishes us all a happy 12th from the Imperial in Liverpool, Wall's watching in East Belfast, Susan is watching, says good evening everyone, happy 11th, as is Johnny. Evening everyone, Alistair says evening everyone from Edinburgh. Anne-Marie Stokes is listening in the UK, Stephen in Glasgow, Mabel in Drumbourg, Alan and Jackie Saunders are watching. Coshy Boy Millen says have a great night and stay safe. Anne-Marie is in Derby. Yes, Walter, I hope you really enjoy the music this evening. So sing along as much as you can, okay? That's the whole point of this. Nobody will hear you but whoever's in your house. And I promise I won't let Roy take the mute off me either, okay? I sat for a deal. Phyllis is watching in Londonderry. Courtney says happy 11th of July. Victoria's watching. Robert's watching. He says have a great night. Awol Smith is watching in Cornwall. David Sheridan, Stuart Boyd. Anne is watching in County Durham. Trevor says hi from all in Sergeant Whitebush, Dungannon. Robert Adams is watching there. Neil Glass is watching. Robert, I'm going to try not to sing, but there's you know what I have done? Instruments. So that'll make up for the singing. Keith is saying, good evening from a busy Port Rush. The beers are ready in for singing. Michelle and Anna Long. Mandy is watching in the D. Bill McMenemy is looking for a wee spot in Europe. Actually, Bill, that's one of the ones that's not on the list. We have so many. It is crazy. It's crazy. Alan says, good evening, Stephen Kenneth Andrews. William is in his usual parking spot, ready for a great night. Peter is watching from Cowdenbeath in Fife. 11 celebrations up and running, says Billy Pettigrew. Billy McDonald, happy birthday. Carl from Glasgow. My goodness, there are so many of you. David from Erskine. Anne Lewin says, we are the Billy Boys. We are the heirs of William. We are the heirs of William. Sounds much more professional and polite than the Billy Boys, doesn't it? Alex Hutton says, sort the text at the bottom of the screen, sing loud and proud. Yes, I know, you can't get the staff, Alex. And when you see what you had at the beginning, you can't get the staff. John White is watching, Joel Jackson is watching, Brian Emerson is away to band up Ballyray. You're missing us. You're missing us, Brian. My goodness. David is on from Kells Water. Keep everyone safe tonight. Don't give our haters anything to shout about. Absolutely. Alan Knox is on. Janet Wilson. Alistair Armstrong. Muriel Quinn. Hello, Mummy. I'm not speaking to you after agreeing to send that to Roy. David is watching in Stenoken. He is just waiting in the band coming and can hear them making their way around the village. Stu is in Stafford. Jacqueline says, great to hear Stenoken's out. Yes, Robert. Hopefully these are all the proper words, as much as I could get them from the lyrics sometimes. Macrofelt District number 3 says that yes, they are singing, which is great to hear. Denise is from Coke, along with Amy. They're running late. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Ian from Craigbank. Oh my goodness. Gordon is in from Thornton in England. Willie from Fermanagh. I'm going to go through some more in after the next song. Right. So the most popular and well-known songs related to the Protestant tradition is, of course, the sash. Okay. But did you know that the song we currently sing is not the original melody? Okay. It's actually there's 4 sets of lyrics that I know of. So it's really, really hard to find it. So what I wanted to do, play early in the show this evening, is what the original sash sounded like. So this is Richard Hayward with one of the sets of lyrics, and when we play the one that I know later on in the show, you'll hear the difference. So this is how the sash would have sounded a couple hundred years ago. Enjoy this one. completely different.
Sure, I'm an Ulster Orange man, from Erin's Isle I came, to see my Glasgow brethren all of honour and of fame, and to tell them of my forefathers who fought in days of yore, all on the 12th day of July in the sash me father wore. It's old but it's beautiful, it's the best you ever seen, been worn for more nor 90 years in that little Isle of Green. From my orange and purple forefather it descended with galore. It's a terror to them papish boys, the sash me father wore. So here I am in Glasgow town, yous boys and girls to see, and I hope that in good orange style you all will welcome me. A true blue blade that's just arrived from that dear Ulster shore, all on the 12th day of July in the sash me father wore. It's old but it's beautiful, it's the best you ever seen, been worn for more nor 90 years in that little Isle of Green. From my orange and purple forefather it descended with galore. It's a terror to them papish boys, the sash me father wore. And when I'm going to leave yous all, good luck till yous I'll say, and as I cross the raging sea my orange flute I'll play, returning to my native town, to old Belfast once more, to be welcomed back by orange men in the sash me father wore. It's old but it's beautiful, it's the best you ever seen, been worn for more nor 90 years in that little Isle of Green. From my orange and purple forefather it descended with galore. It's a terror to them papish boys, the sash me father wore.
It's not very rousing, is it? It's very smooth and melodic. And that's because it came from an old Irish folk song called My Irish Mollio. So what they did was they took My Irish Mollio and they took the lyrics and then they sort of like jazzed it up a little bit into the song that we currently know. It then became a song in the music halls called The Hat My Father Wore, as well as The Sash My Father Wore. And eventually it stayed with the same tune that it has now for a few hundred years, okay? So it's a slightly more mellow version of it. So I wanted to get that out of the way nice and early in the show and build up to our climax of the one that we all know. Now, a lot of the songs on the Orange, a lot of the songs that we have on the Orange tradition are related to the initiation of a brother into the brotherhood. And to be honest, they always talk about the Orange rituals being secret and all that there. But all you have to do is listen to a lot of songs and you could probably, put two and two together and figure out what's going on. This is one that I just love. It's a waltz tempo, but I think it's great. I think you can sing along to this the very best. So I want to hear you all singing, except for you, Roy. Don't want to hear Roy singing. So this is one called The Orange and Blue. I love this and I hope you enjoy it too. Let me know.
What brethren are met in their order so grand, what a beautiful sight for to view. I was ordered to stand by a brother's command to receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. I was ordered to stand by a brother's command to receive the bright orange and blue. In darkness I entered, the Lord he knows where, first bound up in chains it is true. And my shoes from my feet I did then cast away to receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. And my shoes from my feet I did then cast away to receive the bright orange and blue. rise just like thunder I heard presented itself to my view. You would stand with amazement to see them proclaim, to receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. You would stand with amazement to see them proclaim, to receive the bright orange and blue. Light unto me was revealed, I became a fresh soul quite anew. And I'll stand by my cause, by religion and laws, and I'll die for the orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. And I'll stand by my cause, my religion and laws, and I'll die for the orange and blue. Let us join heart and hand, and like King William stand in defence of a cause just and true. Let the Boyne be our guide where our forefathers died in defence of the orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. Let the Boyne be our guide where our forefathers died in defence of the orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. To receive the bright orange and blue. Let the Boyne be our guide where our forefathers died in defence of the orange and blue.
I love that wee song. I'm sitting here swaying along. Hopefully, I wasn't watching the screen, so hopefully Roy didn't put me on that there. But I was swaying along and singing along. I hope you were singing too. Let me know. Were you singing? I hope so. Roy and I went to a lot of work to get these lyrics up on the screen for you guys to sing, so I hope you're singing. Now, so we've got our members in the order. And of course, when you listen to the words of the sash, you would think that the Orangemen fought at the Battle of the Boyne, but they didn't. There was something several hundred years between the two. But we'll get to that eventually. Over the years, the Protestant nation, or the Protestant population community, have come under attack a lot of times. I mean, the walls of the Siege of Derry were shut because there were rumours that they were coming to massacre them the same way they did in 1641 when they were throwing the Protestants over the bridge in Portadown. So that was the reason why in 1689 they closed the gates of Derry. Okay, so William wasn't here for the gates of Derry. So the Battle of the Boyne was just one of many, many battles here in Ireland. And of course, things have continued along the same way with lots of attacks on Protestants. And of course, over the years, we know only too well of the last 30 years of troubles. And these are just another set of continuations of attacks on the Protestant community here in Ireland. Now, north and south, actually. So, you know, like there's no doubt about that thing. So even in recent years, the Protestant community have taken towards telling their history and to tell their story in song. The next one is one of the more recent ones. And it's talking about a gentleman who's about to face a hanging. I'm sure you're all going to know this one. This is Build My Gallows.
say this day that I must hang. Well, I fought that evil band, and I freed my native land. They say this day that I must hang. So build my gallows, build them high, that I might see before I die the antrim glen, the hills of County Down, and I'll see again the lights of home. The antrim glens, the hills of County Down, and I'll see again the lights of home.
Brilliant. I love that one. I love all of the ones tonight. I'm just going to say that before we go any further. I just love them all, and I had so much difficulty narrowing down what I wanted to play this evening. Lorraine says that is her all-time favourite. Robert says the cat is covering up its ears. Is that because you're singing, Robert? Quite right you are. King William had a cat. Lord Carson had a cat. Oh, it sat upon the fender, and every time the Pope went by, it shouted no surrender. He left it by the fireside whene'er he went away. On his return, he always found it singing Dolly's bray. The traitors grew indignant at hearing such a noise, but Carson made the cat sit up and sing the Protestant boys. The traitors then decided to hang it with a rope, but every time they tried the rope, it yelled, "Hell roast the Pope!" The people came from far and near to hear the pussy sing, "Good old Britannia rules the waves, and may God save the king." A few said, "What a pity, the cat is such a fool," but Carson's cat yelled out the more, "We will not have home rule." There. I'm glad to do that one. Did you mention the cat? Oh my goodness. Hi to Ernie Peacock. He says, happy talk to you all at Portrush, LOL 742. Aaron Gillis is watching, Adam Cook, Jean Kerr, William Bell, Jennifer Freeman, Guy Denman, Chris MacArthur, Alex Hutton is wishing Ladies Loyal Orange 247 all the best for tonight and the 12th. Philip is all together for the YCV. Yes, part of that song. Teal says that's the best song ever. So many best wishes from so many different lodges, which is, it's fantastic. Joyce loved that song as well. Fraternal greetings from Oma there. No band videos tonight at all. Sorry. If you're waiting for band or Blood and Thunder, you've come to the wrong place tonight. We'll have it many another night, but not tonight. Graham says no surrender from Newton Abbey. Alan was singing. Dennis Linda Lamour is passing on best wishes from LOL 2046 in Belfast. Linda is singing. Great. I'm glad to hear it. Elizabeth is singing as well. Carl says, please say hello to the Devaney families and also Manny's Faye, who plays in the best band in my eyes, Denoy, accordion. Carl, accordion. Macrofelt, we're still singing. I hope everyone's singing. The Hades are watching. Billy is watching from Bells Hill, Scotland. Oh my goodness. Love the fiddle through the tune. That was the last tune, except the songs will never reveal what really happens. They will not indeed, Philip. They just sort of allude to it, you know. And the thing about this, they're all over the place. You know, we have no great secrets. Like, we're not planning world dominance or anything like that there at the lodge meetings. Well, at least we're not in mine. If we're planning world dominance, my lodge is behind the curve somewhat. Now, there are many, many things important to everyone in the loyal orders, right? And this next song is absolutely fantastic because it goes through the alphabet and educates everyone in the alphabet of something for each of the letters. And I think it's a great wee song, and it's a great way of remembering all those things that are important to us.
A song I'm going to sing to you if you listen unto me. There's nothing curious in it, boys, and that you'll plainly see. It's a song that every orange man can sing with loyalty. Some simple, homely verses of our orange ABC. Now A, it stands for Aughrim, where blood flowed on the plain. And B is for Boyne Water, there where bones do still remain. And C stands for Culmore, where crossing it we had our falls. And D, I'm sure you all know Wells, or Maiden Derry walls. Baldy's for Enniskillen, where nobly they did join. And F is for those fathers brave who conquered at the Boyne. Big G's for that great general who fought at our right hand. And H is for Hanover, which is great King William's land. Then it's judge it for yourselves, boys, and listen unto me. We'll turn the leaf and sing it still, our orange ABC. Now I is for the Israelites that crossed sweet Jordan's streams, and J it stands for Joshua, our guide he still remains. Hard K for Knox reformer, who for the truth did stand, and L for Martin Luther, whose great doctrines we commend. While M stands still for Moses, as he reviewed the land. Good N it stands for Noah, who built the ark at God's command. Great O it stands for orange, a colour you've all worn. And P it is for purple fine, with which the ark was born. Then it's judge it for yourselves, boys, and listen unto me. We'll turn the leaf and sing it still, our orange ABC. Sly Q is for the question they'll ask you at the door. And R is for the road, me boys, which some has trod before. And S is for the secret you're certain there to find. While T is for the travels you will always bear in mind. Good U it stands for unity, in which we all should join. And V is for the victory we conquered at the Boyne. But W stands for William, our famous Commodore. And X is just to tell why Z to X for nothing more. Then it's judge it for yourselves, boys, and listen unto me. We'll close our book and so conclude our orange ABC. Then it's judge it for yourselves, boys, and listen unto me. We'll close our book and so conclude our orange ABC.
I love that. I know it's a wee slow one. You do get faster versions of it. I actually had a faster version picked out, but Roy preferred that one, so we kept that one in. But it lets you hear, you know, the things that are fundamental to the Orange Order and the Protestant religion and all that kind of stuff. So I really love it, and hopefully you loved it too. Now, the next one's a little funny one. We do have ones with quite a sense of humour, and you can see the evidence of our sense of humour even today. I mean, there was a sign at a bonfire the other day where it says, you know, maintain your social distancing, you're not a Sinn Féin funeral, which I thought was fantastic. I think I mentioned that last night, didn't I? Now, the next one, if you're from South Down, I hope your ears are thoroughly pricked up. South Down Militia is the terror of the land. This is a really, really good one. And throughout it, it mentions a Major Wallace. And he was actually, I mean, all of these songs are based around, there's a degree of truth in them, in most of them. You know, and the South Down Militia eventually became, of course, the 5th Battalion of the Royal Irish Rifles. And he was an actual major of it. He was the Grand Master of Belfast Orange for 20 years. He's a Freemason, a member of the Ulster Unionist Council. He was a solicitor. He fought in the Boer War, and then he resigned in January 1913, but come back again to command the 19th Reserve Battalion of the Regiment of the Royal Irish Rifles at the First World War. So this was quite a guy. But the song is a brilliant wee song. Listen to the lyrics, sing along with the lyrics. It's quite funny in places, but it's also really lively and enjoyable. Have fun with this one.
I belong to a noble regiment whose deeds were often told. For on the field of battle they were always brave and bold. They've loyal hearts as well, and true as any steel. And the place they show their bravery is on the battlefield. Why you talk about your King's Guard, Scots, Greys and all? You may sing about your Kilties and your gallant 44. And of any other regiment under the King's command, the South Down Militia is the terror of the land. Oh boys, but it was grand when in action first to join, along with noble William at the Battle of the Boyne. Says King James, I'll take the first train home, it's more than I can stand, for them South Down Militia are the terror of the land. While you talk about your King's Guard, Scots, Greys and all, you may sing about your Kilties and your gallant 44. And of every other regiment under the King's command, the South Down Militia is the terror of the land. Now there's French and Turks and Prussians and brave Italians too. There's Greeks and ancient Romans, not forgetting the Zulu. But from Greenland's icy mountains to Indians' coral strand, the South Down Militia is the terror of the land. While you talk about your King's Guard, Scots, Greys and all, you may sing about your Kilties and your gallant 44. And of any other regiment under the King's command, the South Down Militia is the terror of the land. Now at the Jubilee, the Irish Rifles they marched by. Her Majesty observed them with a keen and martial eye. Och, Major Wallace, says the Queen, them boys of yours look grand. Och, how your tongue says woozy, them's the terror of the land. Why you talk about your King's Guard, Scots, Greys and all, you may sing about your Kilties and your gallant 44. And of any other regiment under the King's command, the South Down Militia is the terror of the land.
I can just hear the Queen talking in an Ulster Scots accent there. Some of the versions, the words were actually in Ulster Scots militia instead of militia. But I thought I would better, translate them just in case everybody didn't understand them. So let's see, who else can we give a wee shout out here to? Robert Lee says, please say hello to Roy from Yvonne Wiley, a neighbour of Roy's mum and dad. It will really make her 12th complete to get a shout out. Well, hi, Yvonne.
Well, Yvonne, I've gave you a shout out before, but obviously you mustn't have been listening at the time we gave you the shout out a few weeks ago. But hi, Yvonne, and to Robert. And when you see my dad again, say hi.
Well, at least you're still awake in the night. I was waiting to see you snoring back there, but they're not that bad. Sure, they're not. No.
They're worse.
Ernie Peacock says, can you play Receive the Bright Orange and Blue? I think I've just played it, Ernie, haven't we? I think it was the one before this. Great show, Valerie says, Myrtle, really enjoying it. Myrtle and Robert Henry in Belfast. James says, happy 11th of July. Johnny is thinking of the food already. He's looking for the chips. Jennifer is missing, is in South Wales and missing home. Darren says, big no surrender from Loyalist Malile and County Down. David Pritchard is watching. Alex is watching from South Lanarkshire. Tommy Vols is watching. You're only up the road, Tommy. How you doing? Lynn is watching in South Wales and still missing home after 45 years. Walter Houston says, hope the Adams family from Newton Arch enjoy the 11th night bonfire celebrations. Light up the skies, Eleanor and Walter. Chris Cunningham says, good evening, folks from Glasgow. David Laird is at the Poppies Bar in Motherwell. Happy 11th night. Billy McDonald is returning fraternal greetings to Robert from the Duke of Manchester's Invincibles, LOL 839. Al McAravey is watching. Hiya, Alan. Edward is late. He's going to do his lines later. That's fine. Edward, get those presented before Monday, please. The Alexander and Hay family are having a party in the backyard. I'm watching in Londonderry. Philip is sending wishes from the Lambeg Drumming Boys of Drumore. Emma is in East Belfast.
East Belfast. East Belfast.
Angela says, stay safe and enjoy your 12th. Ian says, happy 11th from the Govan Protestant Boys. Jimmy's watching in Great Yarmouth. Mackerville District says, the whole of South Londonderry is singing with you. Well, I am glad to hear it. Gillian Douglas says, hi. I'm sure you all saw earlier on, I posted the photograph of Jensen and all his balloons. It looks fantastic. And I also saw Gillian's photograph on the King William Gin page, and she says it's all drunk now. Quite right, Gillian. Goes bad. If you leave it too long, I heard it goes bad.
Gets stronger. I'm slightly confused.
What's wrong?
Since I'm not an Orangeman. David Carlin's wrote Tierna Peacock's just been on. It shouldn't have been. It's about going from purple to RAP.
Royal Arch Purple.
Okay.
So there is there's different degrees, as they call it, within the orange, and I can say this quite happily without giving any great secrets away. And it's just different levels of qualifications that you can go through as an orange man. So obviously, I'm sure everyone knows that you can't be in the Royal Black Preceptory unless you're already in the orange. The Apprentice Boys of Derry are a fraternal organisation, so you can be in it without being in either of the other two, or you can be in the orange without being in the Apprentice Boys, but they are all fraternal and they all work together. Same as
I knew about there's different degrees and things like that, and different levels you can get to of it.
It's just one of the higher degrees within the orange, or and it's just one of the degrees that you can work to, and there's no great secrets about it. And to be honest, that song has been public for I don't know how long, but I'm not giving any great secrets away here on the show this evening, and it's widely available on YouTube and in multiple books, so it's not a great secret, so we don't have to worry about that there at all. Now,
and just to answer Eddie, no, Eddie, we won't. Valerie and I will not be singing a duet tonight. Unless at the end of the show we can't get rid of everybody and we need to clear everybody home, then we might sing then to clear everybody away.
I do not know where he's got this impression that my singing is bad, because it's not at all. Now, the next one is referencing to another battle where, of course, the per Orange men were once again, or per Protestant population were once again attacked. I'm just looking to get the wee bit of history about this one. Andrew says there's a different number of degrees which depend on which Grand Orange you come under. That's correct. If you're under the Grand Orange of Ireland, there's a different number from the Grand Lodge of Scotland, and so on. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just looking for this. I should have had this ready, but I was too busy singing to that last one. Sorry. No. And the interesting thing about the Orange ABC there that we played, the wee slow one we played a wee while ago, it's actually to the tune of The Wearing of the Green, which is quite interesting, I found. Back then, the balladeers, because there was no music, so back then the balladeers just, if they found a really nice tune that they liked, they just put their own music to it. So, like tunes themselves they weren't orange or green. They weren't one side or the other. They were just a really good tune, which always amazes me whenever you hear people going, and I've heard it many, many times, where protesters go, that tune's offensive and that tune really annoyed me. Well, it's just a tune. There's no words to it. How can you be offended by a musical note? Now, the next tune, or the next song, is about the Battle of Garva, okay? So although the song gives you a good gist of what happens, there's 16 verses in the song. I am not going to play all 16, okay? The recording doesn't have all 16 because we purposely cut it down. So the 26th of July, 1813. So this is after the Orange Men were formed, okay? So the Orange Men were formed in, where's my notes? So obviously the Battle of the Boyne has gone over. The Battle of Aughrim has finished. Actually, at the end of the Battle of the Boyne and the Battle of Aughrim, William actually let, I think it was 30,000 of James's troops flee from the UK in ships. He didn't make them prisoner, he didn't kill them, he just let them escape. So they went to France, and then they fought against William's armies in Europe, and they fought against him in Europe. So that was the thanks he got for keeping them alive. What am I looking for? Yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for now. Yes, so we had Derry's walls, which we've talked about, and the siege of Londonderry, and then we moved on. So William landed in Ireland because Schaumburg wasn't clearing things up as quickly as he wanted to. So he landed in Carrickfergus in June 14th of June 1690. And he was impatient, and he wanted to get back to Europe, basically, and get his focus in Europe. And in under a fortnight, he had walked from, and I mean, that's the way those troops moved. They walked. So he had moved from Carrickfergus to the Boyne in a fortnight. Now, that is some walk. That is some trek with troops and all those cannon and all that kind of stuff. When he arrived, the first thing he did was he took a walk out to see his terrain. And that is when he actually was shot in the shoulder. And what happened was that one of James's soldiers, it was sort of like in a valley almost. And one of James's soldiers was actually sitting on the other bank having his lunch. And he recognised William on the far side and took a chance and shot his cannon. And it caught William in the shoulder. So whenever the James's troops saw that William had been injured, they all started cheering and everything. And the word went round that William was actually killed. So of course, William's troops were all demoralised and everything. So what he had to do was then ride out round all of his troops, who by this stage were maybe 30,000 strong, and ride round all of them to let them see that he was still alive, that he wasn't dead at any point. So he had his arm in a sling. So he actually fought the Battle of the Boyne with his arm in a sling. Contrary to belief, he did not cross the Boyne on a white horse. He actually crossed the Boyne on a chestnut horse, because obviously white kind of makes you stand out a little bit. And as he crossed the Boyne, his horse got stuck in the mud. And he had to get off the horse in order to get it out of the mud. And he couldn't do it himself, so he got assistance from an Enniskillen man called McKinley. And he actually took one of his asthma attacks during this, but he got back again. It says he recovered fairly quickly and was soon in the thick of the fray. Now, when you see the pictures of King William on battle, okay, and I always knew this, that when you see a man on a horse and a statue or a painting of them, depending on what way the horse is standing, tells you how they died. So if they have both hoofs up in the air and they're rearing up, that means the rider died in battle. If they have one front leg up, the way you always see William's horse with his sword out, so I mean that didn't happen because he had his arm in a sling, so he needed the other arm to steer the horse. But if you have one front leg up on the horse, you were wounded in battle, which of course William was, and they have four hoofs on the ground, then they died outside battle. I always thought that was really fascinating. So next time you see statues, you will know how they died.
And it's 81 miles from Carrickfergus to the Battle of Boyne.
In a fortnight.
And they say to walk in today's roads and everything else, Google Maps is saying it would take you 27 hours constant walking.
Wow. And I mean, they weren't walking at the same sort of speed as we would walk, you know.
No, they had a full army to take with all the supplies and everything else. Absolutely
crazy. So the Battle of the Boyne happened. It wasn't actually as major a battle as it's made out. Again, it was just one of many. So you had, like the Siege of Derry. You had multiple also, there was multiple other battles throughout, very small battles and skirmishes, etc., between James's troop and William's troops. But he landed just before the Battle of Boyne because he was kind of getting a wee bit, this was a distraction for him. He was focused on Europe. Ireland was a distraction. He didn't want to be bothered with it. So he says, right, we're just going to get this dealt with. So he landed and then went down to the Boyne and fought the Battle of the Boyne. Of course, a year later, they also had the Battle of Aughrim, which actually was the more decisive of the battles, and it gave William control of most of Ireland, including Dublin. And that is when he let them go, the Jacobites board the English ships and go to France and fight for France, etc. Now, that said, it enabled William to return to the principal theatre of war, where his focus was continental Europe. So all this palaver about, the Battle of the Boyne and all that kind of stuff, the Battle of the Boyne was just one of many. It was also a European war. It's not just an Irish war, and it wasn't related to do with religion, strictly speaking, about the Protestants and Catholics in Ireland. It was a huge, big European war, right? So, you know, like people who talk about, oh, it was just a battle between the Protestants and Catholics, is rubbish, absolutely rubbish. So now you know you can discuss that. So what happened then was, of course, the skirmishes, etc., all continued. They didn't stop. You had the massacres of Protestants in various different areas all over the place. And that is how the Orange Order came about. Because what happened was, and I'm just looking for my notes on it. I have all these notes because they had like a sieve. Let me see. It's not that book, so it must be this book. Like there was the defense of Crossgar. Crossgar was another battle. That was in 1849. The Shambles fight at Downpatrick, that was in 1795. So you had all of these battles going on. And why is it when you're looking for something, you can't lay your hands on? Isn't that? No, because this explains this next one. I'm trying to explain it to you. Man, dear. No, it's not that one. I had it marked too. I had the blooming thing marked. There was the Battle of Ballymore in 1691. That was another battle. It's one I have to read up on because it's not one I know very much about. Just leafing through these, shouting out battles at you. Right. Oh no, that's a different battle. I do want to talk about that one, but now I can't find it. This is ridiculous. What is it not like? Look among yourselves there. Battle of the Diamond. That's what I'm looking for. Why did you not tell me that, Roy? That's what I was looking for. Now, the Battle of the Diamond, of course, happened in the 21st of September, 1795. So this was roughly about 100 years after William. So it was still going on. I mean, the Battle of the Boyne didn't settle things by any means. So, the song Battle of the Diamond itself tells about a battle which had a profound effect on Irish history. It was between the Roman Catholic defenders and the Protestant People Day Boys. So basically what happened was that the two communities started forming into gangs and making assaults on each other. And the defenders had some 30 men killed and were frustrated because they were trying to expel the Protestants from County Armagh. So there was a battle then at Battle of the Diamond, which is, of course, where Dan Winter's Cottage and all around that area. And the Protestants defeated the defenders who were attacking the Protestants in the village. At that time, the victors then joined hands, pledged themselves to defend the crown, the country, and the reformed religion. And shortly afterwards, they founded the Loyal Institution of Ireland. And I find this really interesting because their motto was, their slogan was, civil and religious liberty for all, special privileges for none. How ironic is that? So the battles and skirmishes all carried on, and by this stage, then the defenders had formed into the ribbon men, so called because they tied ribbons around their shirt. So that was the Catholic side of it, and then you had the Protestant. So this one here tells the true tale of the Battle of Garva. Now, what happened then? If I can find my notes. So many notes, so many notes. So little time. So the number 40. Where is it? Oh, so it happened on the 26th of July, 1813. And on that date, 1,500 ribbon men, so the ribbon men are the Catholic forces, assembled to attack the house of Davidson in Garva, whose abode was used, or his house was used by the Masonic and the Orange for the meetings. Davidson, however, had been forewarned, and he got all his trusted friends and all his fellow Orange men around him, and they were prepared for the assault. The ribbon men, wearing white handkerchiefs for recognition, approached. Shots were fired over their heads in warning. The warning wasn't heeded, however, and they charged the house, sustaining several casualties in a volley discharged by the defenders of the house. 3 perished on the field of battle, and others, fatally wounded, died soon after. The day after this engagement, Orange men and Freemasons paraded the streets in triumph. So you may always have thought the Battle of Garva was, you know, a made up song, or it was just, it's actually a true story. So this song tells the story about the battle itself, and then what happened when, after the battle, the Protestants were taken to court. So this is a fantastic version of it, and hope you enjoy.
Day before the July fair, the ribbon men they did prepare for 3 miles round to wreck and tear and burn the town of Garva. The Tory whistle loud and shrill, we heard it o'er the high morn hill. Full on brave boys will slay and kill the Protestants in Garva. Day came on, they did repair, and multitudes to Garva fair. Some travelled 30 miles and more to burn the town of Garva. They all appeared in greatest haste, white handkerchiefs had round their waists, but their jackets sweet and soundly based at July fair in Garva. Straight away we went for aid, but none to us they sent, this bloody crew all to prevent from their design on Garva. The Protestants and Orange men like brothers did assemble then, to keep the town was their desire, or die like men in Garva. Fired blank shots of no avail, and orange bullets flew like hail, while ribbon men soon turned their tail with deadly wounds from Garva. We gave the word to clear the street, while numbers flew like hunted sheep, while Protestants did papists meet at Davidson's in Garva. That's it. There we go. But mark what followed this affray, they thought to swear our lives away. To jail we went without delay, we had no guards from Garva. The horrid oaths against us swore, such swearing you ne'er heard before. McCluskey swore 3 hours or more against the boys of Garva. The judge then he would us condemn, had it not been for our jurymen. Our grateful thanks is due to them, for they cleared the boys of Garva. All thanks and praise we'll tender still to Mr. Price and brave George Hill. The Beresfords befriend us still, for they cleared the boys of Garva.
Great way catch you all. And of course you should be recognising all these tunes from the flute bands, because the flute bands play them all. And again, that there is the Braes of something. Balquidder, is it? Can't remember. But it's a Scottish tune, and then they've set the lyrics to it. But it is all true, okay? So David tells me that the ribbon men were also defeated at the Battle of Linwood Bridge in Renfrewshire. I can't recall the year. I didn't know that, David. Thank you for that. Gaz says, hi from all in Glenross in Scotland. Rebecca is watching. Robert and Aaron, where did you get that idea about Rebecca was watching? Rebecca is watching with Paula, Julie, Jordan, Mia, and they're all watching in Ballymena. Hopefully that'll see if you haven't posted the message, Rebecca, anymore.
Well, they're probably in Collybaggy more than Ballymena, I would say.
Well, she says Ballymena. I can only go by what's there.
I know.
Carl Porter says that was her favourite one of all time, the Battle of Garva. Is it, Carl? Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now you know it's a true story as well. Kate says, my notes were in the third tree. I was starting to think they were on the third tree because I couldn't find them, Keith. That's what took me so long. Walter says, give us a tune so I can go and make a cuppa. Well, Walter, I hope you managed to get your cuppa during that tune. But if you did, you missed a really, really good tune. Hi, Betty and Saltcoats. Did we spell courtroom wrong, Eleanor? You maybe did. I didn't know. I wasn't watching. China has joined there. I have mentioned him for the first time in half an hour. There you go. China, they're at me about mentioning you. I'm not going to mention you anymore. Robert says it's the first time in 25 years he hasn't carried the banner. Emma's looking for men behind the bar. Emma, we haven't it on tonight. We've purposely avoided anything of UVF, UDA nature, although there are some fantastic songs, and some of those songs I absolutely love. But there's so many of the historical songs that I wanted to get those all in this evening, just with a few wee modern ones sprinkled in. Brian would have been 30 years for Black Skull Glasgow tomorrow, so next year it will be bigger and better. Absolutely, of course it will. We will be bigger and better, and hopefully this year lets everyone appreciate what they're missing. Now, we spoke earlier on about the Siege of Derry and how important that was, and we would be totally remiss without having a song. This is one of my absolutely favourite songs about Londonderry. And it's about, it should strike a ring with our two watchers from Wales there who are still missing home. It's striking a note for it's a guy who is away from home and he's having a dream about Londonderry on the Foyle.
Tonight I dream about my maiden city. I'll go back to the days I spent there as a boy. I dream about the friends I left behind me in my city, Londonderry on the Foyle. Well, my mother, she writes to me here twice weekly, and she tells me all the things are going on, and she tells me of the bombings and the shootings in my city, Londonderry on the Foyle. But tonight I lie upon my bed, I'm dreaming. I am dreaming of the friends I left behind, and I dream about my sweetheart and the fountain in my city, Londonderry on the Foyle. But once more I'm coming home aboard the steamship. On Loch Foyle once more I'm passing by Culmore, and I see those old grey walls still firmly standing there round my city, Londonderry on the Foyle. I can see the old cathedral, it's still standing, and not far away the old memorial hall, and I see the crimson banner, it's still flying over my city, Londonderry on the Foyle. Over my city, Londonderry on the Foyle.
Love that. I absolutely love that. Oh dear. It's just as well, boys, keeping me muted. I hope you're all singing along and enjoying the tunes that I've picked this evening. I know it's not our usual our usual night of flute bands and accordion bands and brass bands and silver bands and whatever. But I think this is, couldn't ask for a more appropriate time, and hopefully you are singing with us. Now, our next song is another favourite of mine. These are all favourites of mine, what was I saying? Next one's another favourite of mine. I always have heard it sung by a good friend of mine, Russell Watton. It's one of his party pieces when he's had a few. And this is the Union Cruiser. Many will be familiar with it. The song is The Yellow Rose of Texas, and it's about the Hampton Home Rule, and of course, referring to the title of the gun-running ship, the SS Fanny. And on the night of the 24th of April, as we all should know, it sailed into Larne Harbour under the appropriate cover name of the Mountjoy. And of course, the Mountjoy was the name of the ship that broke the boom at the siege of Londonderry. And the cargo held some 24,600 German Mauser rifles and 3 million rounds of ammunition. Actually, there was a UVF rifle at an auction for sale the other week. It went for £800. I was trying to get it, but it just wasn't quick enough. So this is the Union Cruiser. I think there's quite a few of the towns in Northern Ireland mentioned.
Far across the stormy ocean in our happy northern home, where our countrymen are arming to resist the wiles of Rome, I can see the Union Cruiser in the harbour of Belfast, and the orange flag of liberty is floating on her mast. Every city, town and village in our happy northern coast is preparing to defend itself against the Redmond hosts. From the shores of Carrickfergus to the margins of Lough Neagh, there's 100,000 orange men preparing for the fray. Marfelt and Castle Dawson, Mahara and Tobermore are as eager for the conflict as they were in days of yore. Colnady and the Tamlock boys, still loyal to the throne, are responding to the battle cry that comes from Portland known. The fighting men of Garva and the Sprigs of Old Kilray, with their armour brightly burnished and their flags and banners gay, send a ringing call to arms rolling o'er our native hills, that was heard at Ballymoney, Ahadoe and Bushmills. Every loyal heart is throbbing in the town of Stout Coleraine, where the men of proven value are assembled on the plains. Good courageous self-reliance from the lips of every man brings a cheer of bold defiance rolling o'er the river Bann. From the crest of Cady Mountains I can see the bayonets gleam, hear the roll of martial music in the valley winding stream, where the loyal Mavati men that never feared a foe are resting in their arms in the valley of the Roe. In the streets of Londonderry there's a grand inspiring scene, where apprentice boys are arming to defend our maiden queen, and our walls are stoutly guarded by defenders of the soil, and the cry of no surrender echoes o'er the river Foyle. Ye loyal sons of Ulster who have of your valour shown on the crimson field of battle as defenders of the throne, put your trust in God above, be courageous, calm and cool, and the North can bid defiance to John Redmond and Home Rule, and the North can bid defiance to John Redmond and Home Rule.
Love that one. Another brilliant one. The only thing is I can't remember all the words for that there. Now, moving back to more modern times and more recent times, of course, with all the attacks from the IRA over the last 30 years, Orange have been a focus, and Orange men in particular have been a focus, and none more so than the town of Crossmaglen. So this is Lisa from Battalion singing about the Orange men from Crossmaglen.
I'll sing a song of history long, a struggle for the Ulster we all love, a border town, a village strong, whose people made allegiance to the crown. In Crossmaglen up their brothers fight the foe and rid the IRA from Ulster's land. In Crossmaglen there's orange men whose patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the battle cry, it will be the orange men in Crossmaglen. In Crossmaglen there's orange men whose patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the battle cry, it will be the orange men in Crossmaglen. It will be the orange men in Crossmaglen.
Great, isn't it? Really, really great. I mean, it's lovely that we have songs from all of the eras which are so good and rising as well. Now, the next one is a fantastic one. Again, a true story, okay? There are 16 verses in this one, but we're not going to do them all right? But it's what I always say, that people complain and find the sash offensive. It's probably the least offensive of all our songs. This is one of them. I probably should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. Instead of talking about my singing, we should probably have said that this is not a politically correct show by any means, and we've been keeping it mild. Now, Dolly's Bray is just outside Castlewellan, and it was a steep road, and there's like kind of a difficult pass through it. And it was on the Orangemen's traditional route into Tullymore on the 12th day of the July, or 12th day of July, not the July, right? So what happened was that the Ribbon Men were forming on Dolly's Bray to attack the Orange Men on the route to the parade. Now, the first year it happened, the Orange Men avoided it completely. They just went another route, okay? But what ended up happening was that the Ribbon Men just, they made songs up deriding the Orange Men for their cowardice and all that sort of stuff. And eventually, the next year, it started to happen again. And the triumphant Orange Ribbon Men sent a letter to the magistrate George Shaw, challenging both the police and soldiers to meet them on the Bray and boasting it would be the last 12th on which the Orange Men walked through the country. As we all know, the Orange Men got through to Castlewell, held their demonstration, but on the return over the Bray, they were ambushed. The first shots were fired by the Ribbon Men, but the Orange Men were well prepared and returned the fire, killing about 30 Ribbon Men with no losses to themselves. The government then used that. I'm sure you've all heard of the Party Processions Act, which banned 12th parades here, but they, way back in the 1800s. So they used Dolly's Bray as an excuse to bring the Party Processions Act in. And of course, then you move on to William Johnston with Ballykilbeg and all that kind of stuff. But that's a story for another day. This is the fantastic, true story of Dolly's Bray.
'Twas on the 12th day of July in the year of 49, 1,000 of our Irishmen together did combine, in memory of King William on that bright and glorious day, to march around Lord Rawdon's Park and right over Dolly's Bray, to march around Lord Rawdon's Park and right over Dolly's Bray. And when we came to Weir's Bridge, wasn't that a glorious sight, to see so many Irishmen all willing for to fight, to march around the old remains, the music so sweet did it play, and the tune we played was the Protestant Boys right over Dolly's Bray, and the tune we played was the Protestant Boys right over Dolly's Bray. And as we walked along the road, not fearing any harm, our guns all over our shoulder and our broadswords over our arms, until two priests came up to us and to Mr. Spears did say, come turn your men the other road and don't cross Dolly's Bray, come turn your men the other road and don't cross Dolly's Bray. And when we came to Dolly's Bray, they were lined on every side, praying for the Virgin Mary to be their holy guide. We loosened our guns upon them and we gave them no time to play, and the tune we played was the Protestant Boys right over Dolly's Bray, and the tune we played was the Protestant Boys right over Dolly's Bray. was a damsel amongst us all, and one we shall adore. For she wove the orange around her head and cried, Dolly's bray no more. And if they ever come back again, they'll be 10 times as sore. And we'll christen this King William's Bridge and cry, Dolly's bray no more. And we'll christen this King William's Bridge and cry, Dolly's bray no more.
David says he would also always have called Dolly's Bray as a tune in certain areas. Quite right, because I haven't a clue. Not a clue. Play the sash, they know what it is. In fact, they mistake Jerry's Walls as the sash. Not a clue. Not a clue. I want to mention there about the tune they played was Dolly's Bray. I want to read you out a wee verse from Dolly's Bray. I'm not going to play the song from Protestant Boys. I'm not going to play the whole song, but I think this is such an appropriate verse. The Protestant boys are loyal and true, though fashions are changed and the loyal are few. The Protestant boys are true to the last, though cowards belie them when danger has passed. I will withstand a loyal band and reck not the liars whatever they say. For let the drums rattle, the summons to battle, the Protestant boys must carry the day. Such rousing lyrics. Now, the next one is a little slower one. We are going to slow it down a bit. This was Roy's choice. I allowed Roy to choose one tune. Isn't that very kind of me?
It was very kind of you, Valerie. I could have had a couple of choices, but I thought, you know what? I only need one. The singer in this is superb. That's all I can say.
So, Roy, who is the singer in this one?
The singer is a young girl originally from the Shankill, Rhonda Kennedy. She now lives up in North Down, I think. And she's an up-and-coming starlet. We had Lisa, who she doesn't sing now as much as she used to. But Lisa is an up-and-coming starlet, and I absolutely adore this tune, and adore her version of it.
And I know a few have been asked for it in the comments there. Sorry, I'm not reading out as many comments as I normally do. There's just so much for us to cover here. But this is Ulster Girl.
sons who nursed no cowardly slaves. Well, the Ulster girl is me, and I'll tell you honestly that I'll die to keep this land of ours still free.
We're back. We're not too sure what is going on with the track, and I was enjoying that too. So we're not sure what is going on, but we'll carry on. We'll not worry about it. Roy, do you want to restart your machine or anything there? In case that helps.
I don't know. Maybe it's YouTube that's playing up because I've also got it on my hard drive as well. So what I'll probably do is I'll start playing them from my drive as opposed to YouTube.
Okay. No problem. No problem at all, just in case it's YouTube, because we've no control over that. But as long as you guys are all still here, that's the main thing. Now,
and also talking about YouTube, while we're on YouTube, all these songs, folks, are available on our YouTube channel, Virtual Band Parade. So if you want to go back and listen to any of them again, the videos as you're seeing them tonight are all there on the YouTube channel.
Yes, and if you feel like having your own Loyalist karaoke or Orange karaoke at any point in time over the next few days, please feel free to use them now and at any time. That's what they're there for. The whole thing about it is getting these songs exposed back out there again, because we have so many of them. They are fantastic. Now, the next one, I love it. This is one of the first Orange... I say the first Orange songs that I learned. It's the first Orange song that I sat down and purposely learnt all the lyrics for. I found it in a book of Richard Hayward's that my dad bought me many, many years ago, before I kind of knew who Richard Hayward was or what he was about. Richard Hayward, of course, was a very famous actor here from Ireland, did a lot of travel programs, but he was also a fantastic exponent of the Orange songs. And this is one of my favorites that he does. It's called the Owl Orange Flute. It's quite comedic as you get through to it, but the poor flute has a very sad end at the end of this song. So sing along, folks, if you know it.
In the county Tyrone, near the town of Dungannon, where many's a ruction, myself had a hannon. Bob Williamson lived there, a weaver by trade, and all of us thought him a stout orange blade. On the 12th of July, as it yearly did come, Bob played on the flute to the sound of the drum. You may talk of piano or fiddle or lute, but there's nothing could sound like the Owl Orange Flute. But this cunning old Kyo sure he took us all in, and married a papish called Bridget McGinn. Turned papish himself and forsook the old cause that gave us our freedom, religion and laws. Now the boys in the townland made some noise upon it, and Bob had to fly to the province of Connaught. He fled with his wife and was fixing to boot, and along with the rest went the Owl Orange Flute. At the chapel on Sunday, by the priest's own desire, Bob took the owl flute for to play in the choir. He took the owl flute for to play in the mass, but the instrument shivered inside, oh alas. Bob jumped up, he leapt up and got in a splutter, and dipped the owl flute in the blessed holy water. But blow as he would, 'twould make no other sound, but the Protestant boys and owl cruppies lay down. At a council of priests that was held the next day, they prepared to administer auto the fray. They couldn't knock heresy out of its head, so they bought Bob another to play it instead. So the owl flute was doomed and its fate was pathetic. 'Twas branded and burned at the stake as heretic. While the flames rose around it, they heard a strange noise. 'Twas the owl flute still
old flute. That poor old flute. And of course, John, you're totally right. The Dubliners did record that one, you know, and it's just a fantastic tune. And in case you're wondering, the reference there to Croppies Lie Down, the Croppies was the name for the Ribbon Men, because once it come to the United Irish, you know, the United Irish Rebellion, I think was the name they called it. Those who were sympathetic to it all got their hair cropped up in the same style as the French revolutionaries, because of course these were all happening around the same times, and the United Irish Rebellion was their attempt at having the French Revolution. So they called the Croppies because their hair was all cropped up so short, which was a new fact I learned today. So there we go. New something. Now, talking about men who have their hair cut short, the military style head style haircut. I couldn't think of the word I was looking for there. It would probably ring true for supporters of this next song. Wonderful Force, which of course, like our good old RUC and our B specials, was politically got rid of because they were just too good at what they did. It is, of course, the UDR, and another favourite song of mine. Are you fed up listening to that yet? UDR4. I adore this one.
Can I just say hello to Natalie Barlow, who is watching on YouTube. She's put a comment in the YouTube channel, but unfortunately you can't see them because you're probably not watching on YouTube, but I've got it up as well. So just say hi to Natalie Barlow. She's put in the YouTube chat. There is chat on YouTube. Nobody very rarely uses it, so that's why we haven't got it coming on here.
Hi Natalie, hope you enjoy UDR.
We'll get on with the music.
I'm a young Ulster soldier from north of the border. I'm one of the UDR4. They'll charge me with murder, just me and no other. Now I am a lifer called Neil Latimer. Oh, they've locked me away where the sweet light of day half reaches my prison cell door. But no matter how long I fight on and on as one of the UDR4. Free, free, I just want to be free as the wind and the rain and the sea. Free, free, I just want to be out where the rivers run free. So strike up the drum, let me shoulder my gun. Let the flutes play the sash that my dear father wore. And open the gates, let me rejoin my mates as one of the UDR4. Together again, we'll fight as young men, as our forefathers did in the great days of yore. And the IRA scum, oh, the border will run, and the charge of the UDR4. Free, free, I just want to be free as the wind and the rain and the sea. Free, free, I just want to be out where the rivers run free. So strike up the drum, let me shoulder my gun. Let the flutes play the sash that my dear father wore. And open the gates, let me rejoin my mates as one of the UDR4. Together again, we'll fight as young men, as our forefathers did in the great days of yore. And the IRA scum, oh, the border will run, and the charge of the UDR4. Free, free, I just want to be free as the wind and the rain and the sea. Free, free, I just want to be out where the rivers run free. Oh, free, free, I just want to be free as the wind and the rain and the sea. Free, free, I just want to be out where the rivers run free. Oh, out where the rivers run free.
out where the rivers run free.
Lovely wee one. If you weren't sitting swaying and singing along to that there, I don't know what's wrong with you. I really don't. Now, let's go back a little bit in our history. So some of the most well-known songs, so Orange installations and Orange suppers, and I used to be dragged along to play to all of these with my dad whenever I was a young thing, and they always had an entertainment section at the end of the suppers. It sort of died away a little bit, which I think is really sad because it was a really, really good way of socialising.
Was that before or after you played?
No, I was only ever allowed in.
The entertainment section, was that before or after you played?
Bugger. Right. So so my head turned you. There was always like a thing song at the end. And what you ended up doing was, folk would have made up songs about their own lodge and, give fraternal greetings from their own lodge and all that kind of stuff. And they were great. They were really, really good. People were singing along when they were drinking a cup of tea and all that sort of stuff. I love them. I think they should be brought back. I really, really do. But anyway, this is one written about their lodge, the 632 lodge from Ochillee. Now, in the lyrics, you will see that Achillee is spelt incorrectly, but this is the way it was spelt way back whenever this song was written. And it is the Ochillee Heroes. And it doesn't tell a tale of any battle. It just tells about the guys out for the 12th day and they were meeting the commander and all that kind of stuff, Captain Black. And then I love the line. It says, and when we arrived safe in Achillee, the brandy did flow like the Rhine. Well, my goodness. Enjoy the Ochillee Heroes.
You Protestant heroes of Ireland, give ear to these lines I sing now, concerning those Achillee heroes that marched through the sweet Nordy Down. It being the 12th day of July, our music so sweetly did play, and the Protestant boys and Boyne Water, where the tunes we play going away, like the sons of King William they marched, till at length Lurgan town we did view, where the church it was there decorated with the orange and purple and blue. Round its spires our colours were flying, and small guns like cannons did roar. Long life to these Achillee heroes, for they are the boys we adore. Captain Black, like a bold orange hero, came riding down on his grey steed, and he asked us what number we carried, and where did we mean to proceed. We told him the county of Antrim, our number was 632. We are the Achillee heroes that will make some rebels subdue. We took off our hats to salute him, so boldly he bade us pass on, and he rode like a hero before us, till we came to the planks of the path. And when we arrived safe in Achillee, the brandy did flow like the Rhine. Long life to these Achillee heroes, for they are the boys close by.
Nice one. It's a real foot tapper. You can't help but tapping your foot to that one. Now, the next one I absolutely love is a comedic one. And I was writing out the lyrics of it because I couldn't find the lyrics anywhere. And I mean, I've got like something like 17 or 18 books of Orange songs, loads of ones, like old ones, recent ones, and all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't find the words for this anywhere. So I was writing them out from the audio. And there was one word that I couldn't make out and could spell. So I had to ask all my friends who worked in the Ulster Scots Agency and who did Ulster Scots programmes and radio and all that sort of stuff to try and find out the meaning of the word. And it's the Oil Cioch Boy. And it's just basically the Oil Rascal. So this tells the story. It's about Seaford and County Down. And it tells the story of a guy who had a goat. And he was a bit of an old rogue. And, well, I'll let the story tell you the rest. Or the song tell you the rest of the story.
In the county down close to Seaford town, all at Drummondest did dwell. An old rogue there you would compare with the minor judge of hell. Sure on Logan's rocks he does feed his flocks, and he had a goat last year that was 3-year old, so I've been told, and he loved that goat most dear.
It was 3-year old, so I've been told, and he loved that goat most dear.
Now this Alkyo boy, he got up one day with his goat some pence to earn, nor little thought of the gunk he'd get when the cruel truth he'd learn. For the orange men had been round that night, you may guess what he did say, when the horns and flesh of the goat lay there and the hide had gone away.
When the horns and flesh of the goat lay there and the hide was gone away.
Sure he ran hot-footed to Seaford town, and he to the squire did say, Sir, some hell's kin my goat did skin, and your rent I cannot pay. Then the gentleman he began to laugh till he drove the old rogue mad, and he let a howl and he swore by his soul he would have it off Drumsnad.
And he let a howl and he swore by his soul he would have it off Drumsnad.
Then he came to mind of a boast they'd made when they walked on the last 12th day, that they'd head their drum with a Papish hide for the Protestant boys to play. Then he let the shout just like hell come out, and a bad word did he say, till the rage grew wild and like a child he could neither curse nor pray.
Till the rage grew wild and like a child he could neither curse nor pray.
And when that he to his home returned, sure his cries would cleave the sky, saying they never will have luck for the skinning of me buck till the time they droop and die. But on the 12th day of July it does nearly drive him dumb, for to hear the sound of the Papish goat in the head of their orange drum.
To hear the sound of the Papish goat in the head of their orange drum.
Wasn't that brilliant? That one is called The Papish Goat. Alistair, sorry, is saying he's never heard of this one before. Let me know how many of the songs that we're playing tonight you have heard and what ones you haven't heard, because my view is all of these songs, they're fantastic and they're being lost just because we don't know them. So the next one is one that I had to have in this program. I couldn't have done the program without it. And I'm dedicating it to a really good friend of mine, Mr. Wooly Rock, who passed away sadly last year and is a real loss to us. Wooly was a Ulster Scots singer and he sang along with me in my group, the Ulster Scots Experience. He just was so much fun and he just loved singing Orange songs. And the crowd just loved him. They couldn't understand a word that he said because he came from Clough-Bells, and especially when you went to Belfast and places like that, they had a clue what he said. But he was so comedic, you just laughed along with him. So this is Wooly playing in the Odyssey. No, Waterfront, Odyssey? Waterfront. Playing in the Waterfront at a concert for the Regimental Band in Belfast. And he is singing Fields of Ulster. And I've asked Roy to keep the video on this one because I think it's just perfect tribute to Wooly.
I'm all
at his best that night. The waterfront was packed, and he had virtually the whole place singing, just the way he brought the crowd on. He was a fantastic character and very much missed by all his friends and, of course, his family. Now, the next one, we're on the downward slope here. We're coming into the field, boys, so the tempo's speeding up a wee bit. Now, oh, yes, there is a... Myrtle has asked, could I please say happy anniversary to her husband, Robert? They met in the field in Finnicky on the 12th of July, 1966, and will be 50 years married in October. He's still 54 years an Orangeman. Well, congratulations. And of course, many, many romances and flirtations and so on have all started through the parades and the bands and the Orange, and great it is. Now, the next song, of course, takes us back to the boy, and this is by a singer called Sam Carson, who does a lot of great stuff. You can find all of these on YouTube. The difficulty is kind of knowing what to look for, but we have going to have all of these videos on our YouTube channel. And you can see them all there, and you can sing away to your heart's content as many times as you wish. And this one talks again about the green grassy slopes of the Boyne. Another one Willie used to do to great acclaim. And I hope to hear you all singing along.
Some folk sings of mountains and valleys where the wildflowers abundantly grow, and some of the wave-crested billows that dash beneath the waters below. But I'm going to sing of a river, and I hope in the chorus you'll join, of the deeds that were done by King William on the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
On the green grassy slopes of the Boyne, where the armed men with William did join, and they fought for our glorious deliverance on the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
On the banks of that beautiful river, there the bones of our forefathers lie, awaiting the sound of the trumpet to call them to glory on high. In our hearts we will cherish their memories, and we all like true brethren will join, and praise God for sending us King William to the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
On the green grassy slopes of the Boyne, where the orange men with William did join, and they fought for our glorious deliverance on the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
Orange men will be loyal and steady, for no matter whate'er may betide, we will still mind our war cry, no surrender, so long as we've God on our side. And if ever our services is needed, then we all like true brethren will join, and fight like great Valley and King William.
We lost.
Forefathers lie, awaiting the sound of the trumpet to call them to glory on high. In our hearts we will cherish their memories, and we all like true brethren will join, and praise God for sending us King William to the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
On the green grassy slopes of the Boyne, where the orange men with William did join, and they fought for our glorious deliverance on the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
Orange men will be loyal and steady, for no matter whate'er may betide, we will still mind our war cry, no surrender, so long as we've God on our side. And if ever our services is needed, then we all like true brethren will join, and fight like great Valley and King William.
We're not sure what's going on tonight.
And praise God for sending us King William to the green grassy slopes of the Boyne.
On the green grassy slopes of the Boyne, where the Orangemen with William did join, and they fought for our glorious deliverance. On the green grassy slopes of the Boyne,
Orangemen will be loyal and steady, for no matter whate'er may betide, we will still mind our war cry, no surrender, so long as we've God on our side. And if ever our services is needed, then we all like true brethren will join and fight like great Ferry and King William.
Don't know what is going on technically tonight. Roy, reboot your machine or something. Can you do it quickly? I know, but I don't want to lose any of them. They're too good to be losing. Too good. Yeah, I know, but what's happening here?
I've absolutely no idea what's happening.
Started.
What?
That's what I'm paying you for.
Paying?
That's what we're paying you for.
Paying?
Now, this next one is another one that I love. It is not very well known, I have to say. Again, it's another one that is not in many of the songbooks neither. And it talks about two men who are walking around in the countryside. And it's another one of these ones that is it's sort of an allegory about going into the order and, you know, the things that the qualifications of an Orangeman and what you need to have to join the order. And it's kind of all hinting widely at what goes on, but it's not going into detail. And again, it's all widely on the internet and has been recorded many, many times. So again, there's no secrets in it. And let me see who, let's see. Somebody says, yes, Elizabeth, it's not you. It's not you. It is, there's something going on technically. So Roy is trying to get it sorted out. That's why I'm waffling here. I'll read a few texts out while he's working on YouTube. Gremlins. It probably is Evelyn, but at least you're singing and enjoying it. Excuse me. Robert is the troll under the bridge. There was a couple of trolls on there. They're deleted. They're gone. Don't worry about them. Just ignore them. Davey says, great show, best thing. It's been on the telly in a long time. Haven't heard a lot of these shows before. Well, that's good, Davey. I mean, that was the whole idea of tonight. I wanted to let you hear these songs too, so you can see we have so much fantastic musical history there. Playing fantastic tunes tonight, singing my head off. That's Evelyn. Yeah, we got the trolls, Andrew. Thank you for letting us know. Betty's lesson for Penny Arcade. Penny Arcade's not one that we have included, Betty, because it's more kind of, it started off more as a football thing, and you know, like there's so much many more. Is that English? More songs that I could have included. So you know, I only had a limited amount that I could include, and I mean, I can't believe it's 10 to 10 already, and we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs to go. So we need to get through them all. Are we good to go, Roy?
Hopefully, yes.
Let's see if Roy is worth his pay. That's all I can say.
The weight of the pay is the only thing heavier than the weight of pay is fresh air.
Or feather.
No, feathers, even the feather would be too heavy. The fresh air is the only thing heavier.
All that pay to the bank, don't you? Right. Now, the next one's a wonderful one. Again, it's, as I said, I couldn't find it in any songbooks, so I got the lyrics just by listening to the audio. So that meant I listened to it about 200 times in a row. And then Roy listened to it about 200 times in a row to get the lyrics up for you. So you need to sing up nice and loud to make our effort all worthwhile. This is a wee one called An Orange Ribbon Trimmed with Blue.
As Will and Tom were walking on one evening in the month of May, and like two comrades talking on, young William unto Tom did say,
one question I will now invite, and I know that you will answer true. Where did you get that paper on with the orange ribbon trimmed with blue?
Before I was admitted, I applied myself at wisdom's door, and there I was admitted, though I was all naked, blind and poor.
They told me to kneel down and pray the path of virtue to pursue, before I get my apron on with the orange ribbon trimmed with blue.
having passed those stages, sure another friend he accosted me, and he told me of great wonders that concerned a noble mystery.
My plan is small, and he proposed the path of virtue took us soon. Before I get my acre rung with the orange ribbon trimmed with gold.
Two brethren then conducted me unto a river deep and wide, and for fear I might be cast away, a fence stood close at either side.
Regardless of all dangers there, they both went down, I did my still, all the more to gain my acre rung with the orange ribbon trimmed with gold.
But having passed those stages, I next saw three dazzling flames of light, and as I on them pondered, my fears grew few, my heart grew light.
The royal lord she passed with land, an noble army in my view. It was there I got my acre rung with the orange ribbon trimmed with blue.
So you see, it is an emblem of a wondrous noble mystery, and I'll wear it as a diadem for the honor it confers on me.
And every honest heart is stern, but his both loyal's conscience true. He will win and wear an acre rung
With an orange ribbon trimmed with blue.
I love that wee one. It's class. Sometimes the lyrics were a wee bit hard to make out, but I think I got most of them, so I did. Want to give a wee shout out. Rod Ferris asked, can you give a shout out to Dan Pettigrew listening in Philadelphia? Hope you are enjoying our cultural songs this evening, Dan and Rod. This is, of course, all the history that we're having, and at least we managed to get through that song with no technical hitches. Hopefully it will be the same for the rest of them. Now, our next song we coming on. Jim's asking, do you have an old song? I think it's called Three Cheers for King Billy. It starts, your hero was a Dutchman and William was his name. I'll have a wee look through my books, Jim. It's going to be in one of them. I have the other one I've got sitting here is the Crimson Banner songbook, which, as you can tell, is not the youngest of things. But anytime I see any of those coming up on an auction auction.
A little fraudulent slip of the tongue there, Valerie.
It was indeed. Anytime I see them coming up on a site, I buy them, and sometimes pay too much for them. But
you know, it's amazing to think that the oldest thing sitting on that desk at the minute is you.
Hey, Keith had said there to pay you more because you were worth it. I was going to give you a 50% rise, Roy. Never let it be said I'm not generous. It's going to give you a 50% rise. No,
50% of nothing is nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not being tight-fisted. I'm still giving you a.
It's okay. I'll give you a 100% pay rise.
Yes. You want to give me the skin of your fart, as they say. Now, our next tune.
All right.
Well, it's not Scott said. The next tune is related to Derry, Londonderry, the Apprentice Boys of Derry, to be more exact. It's called The Crimson Banner, and it talks about the siege of Derry and about the brave apprentice boys who went to close the gate. It's actually called The Crimson Banner, but a lot of times it's called No Surrender. The tune that it goes to is actually called No Surrender, so that's probably why. There is another song, No Surrender, which goes to the same tune, but this one is The Crimson Banner, and I just love the arrangement of this.
Behold, the crimson banner flows through yonder torrent hoary. It tells of days of mighty note, and there is deathless glory. When her brave sons undone stood in battle to defend her, indignant streamed of precious blood and sang with no surrender. And he's the boys that fear none eyes and never will surrender. The gates we close against our foes on the 18th of December. While Derry's walls were firm and strong, fenced in every quarter, each frowning batty and grim along, with halberd and to your stream, Mary, for Tempest was the free and brave him and the walls of Derry, and Derry some alike defend, no traitor or pretender, and ring their tender benches cry their patriot no surrender.
But hasten the boys that fear no noise and never will surrender. The kids we goes against our foes in the 18th of December.
That good wee one. Like that one. Definitely like this one. Now, I know that many of you will like this next one. Again, one of the more modern ones, probably been out about the last 10, 15 years. And it talks about a famous mural in Sandy Row. And again, not politically correct in parts.
There's a famous painting now that everybody knows. It stands upon a gable wall over Sandy Row, in memory of King William and brethren who did join. They fought for our deliverance at the Battle of the Boyne. King Billy's on the wall, King Billy's on the wall. He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the falls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze in awe. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall. Well, there are slogans painted in red, white and blue. They tell the Pope where he can go and what he can do. There's one to Jared Rice, well that's a different class. Go stick the lower armor on and stick it up your ass. King Billy's on the wall, King Billy's on the wall. He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the falls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze in awe. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall. Well, the next time you're in Ulster, won't you come and have a look? Stand beside that mural and have your photo took. Then put it on your mantelpiece or hang it in your hall, so that all the world can see King Billy's on the wall. King Billy's on the wall, King Billy's on the wall. He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the falls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze in awe. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall. King Billy's on the wall, King Billy's on the wall. He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the falls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze in awe. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall. He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the falls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze in awe. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall.
All I can say is you guys are lucky because I had to listen to Roy singing the whole way through that. And it's well seen he carries a flag because he can't carry a tune. Now,
on retort to that, it's well saying that you sit down to play your accordion because you can't dance.
Now we're down to our last two tunes, folk. I could play these songs all night, but I think Roy might be at the end of his rope. He said these were all boring and depressing. I don't know. Do you think they were boring and depressing? I certainly don't. We're down to our last two. Let me know if you enjoyed tonight, okay?
I never said that the songs. I said the singers.
He did. Trust me, he did.
It's the singers. Are
Let me know
different.
if you enjoyed it, because I have thoroughly enjoyed introducing these songs to you, and for the ones that you haven't heard and reminding you of ones that you maybe heard whenever you were a kid. I've really enjoyed it. We're down to our last two, and there's really only two that we could finish the show off with this evening. The first one is, of course, Derry's Waltz. Sing versions.
The time has scarce gone round, boys, 200 years ago, when the traitors on old Derry's walls their faces dare not show. When James and all his rebel band came up to Bishopsgate, with heart and hand and sword and shield we caused him to retreat.
Fight and don't surrender, but come when duty calls. With heart and hand and sword and shield, we'll guard old Derry's walls.
Though blood did flow in crimson streams on many a winter night, the Lord was on their side to help them in their fight.
They nobly stood upon the walls, determined for to die, or fight and gain the victory, and raise the crimson high. Then fight and don't surrender, but come when duty calls. With heart and hand and sword and shield, we'll guard old Derry's walls.
At last, with one broadside, kind heaven sent them aid. The boom that blocked the fire was broke, and James was all dismayed. The banner, boys, that floated was run aloft with joy.
God bless the ship that broke the boom and saved the Prentice boys. Then fight and don't surrender, but come when duty calls. With heart and hand and sword and shield, we'll guard old Derry's walls.
I'm killing myself laughing here because at one point I went like that there and just hot me light. So definitely rousing. Down to our last tune. I really hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have heard tunes that you haven't heard before. This is our history, folks. This is what we are about. This is what we are celebrating on Monday. Wherever you are on Monday, please have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Do not, I repeat, do not give anyone anything to start on us about, okay? Because it's just letting them off the hook. That's all I can say. Join us again on Monday at 3 o'clock, where we're going to do a 12th show, just nothing but bands, no more singing. And have a wonderful day, because we are, of course, the heirs of William. We're going to finish off with the 12th, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, here am I, an orange man from far across the sea. For singing and for dancing, I hope that I'll please thee. I can sing and dance with any man, as I did in days of yore. And on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. Sure, my father wore it as a youth in the bygone days of yore. And it's on the 12th I proudly wear the sash my father wore. Whenever I come back again, my brethren here to see, I hope in the fine old orange style they'll always welcome me. My favourite tune, Boyne Water, will please me more and more, and make my orange heart feel glad with the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. Well, my father wore it as a youth in the bygone days of yore. And it's on the 12th I proudly wear the sash my father wore. Oh, it's now I'm going to leave you. Good luck to you, I say. And when I'm on the ocean, for me I hope you'll pray. I am going to my native land, to a place they call Dromore, where on the 12th I always wear the sash my father wore. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Aughrim, Enniskillen, and the Boyne. Oh, my father wore it as a youth in the bygone days of yore. And it's on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore. And on the 12th I love to wear the sash my father wore.
I'm back! You thought you'd saw the last of me, but you're not. I just forgot to say that normally at this point in time we play The Landing of Torbay. But however, we played that earlier in the show, so we had to change our end of music tonight. Now, I was going to play this one in the show because I loved it, absolutely loved it. However, let's just say the lyrics are a little bit risque. So stick to the end of this one because I think you'll enjoy it. See you all on Monday. Bye.
As we march up and down on the roads of Cornwall, our drums they will blather like the thunder, and as they draw near us, they beat in hearts and fear. We're the Bulldog heroes of Cornwall. In Dublin there's a man, and he says he has a plan. He has 10,000 men or more, they say, but then we need not mind, for they're all half lame and blind. We're the Bulldog heroes. As we march up and down on the roads of tightened up their rope and was gasping fully struck, and he'll never